Kelvin, you know, in that kind of environment, how important is it to have, experienced guards like, Milos, Emanuel, and what kind of difference does that make?
They've been in those moments. They've been in those moments before, but they had 3 seniors with them. not all these young guys. But, one thing about all the teams here, whether you play good or you don't play good, those experiences are important. It's important to have good experiences, but it's also important to have experiences where maybe you don't play so well, because this is not the last time that's going to happen. But how do you win on nights maybe when you don't play very good? How do you figure it out? And, I think we had what was our biggest lead, 9 or 11? 11. Yeah, we had 11, and we run a simple big screen. That was it's like we treated it like it was a great chess move. Next thing in there to get it done. They missed a free throw. We go in there and jump early. Takes another bounce. They put it in. But it's those kind of mistakes. But let's stop right there, because I hate it when other coaches do that. Let's give credit to Coach Adrian Autry, and let's give credit to Syracuse. Their kids played hard. They played good enough to win. We played good enough to win too, and I'm glad we did. But I was impressed with Syracuse tonight. Their guards played good. Number 42, Kyle, he's tough. He's got a lot of winner in him too. I thought they had a good game plan coming in. They did a good job of executing it. So really impressed with Syracuse, really impressed with Coach Autry and his staff. I thought they did a great job.
Kelvin, speaking of weathering things, that stretch down at the end of the regulation, I think the last 5 minutes, no field goals, was that a product of just shots weren't going, or did you feel like
Some of both, probably. I mean, if you go look at it and look at the shots we were getting, I was okay with those. We tried to keep the ball in Emanuel and Milos' hands as much as we could because of the free throw shooting. Outside of those 2 guys, we were 2 for 9. You have to be real smart to keep the ball in those 2 guys' hands. And they both had really good looks, too. And believe it or not, we executed some really good stuff tonight. Especially out of timeouts and dead balls. Our execution was good. But you can execute all you want. Ball didn't go in. It's not a good play. But both teams played hard. I don't think both teams are as good now as they're going to be a month from now. It's November the 24th, and it's our 6th game. It's a good experience for our freshmen to be out there in that kind of environment. Hopefully it'll pay off for us down the road.
Milo, to have 26 back home in Las Vegas, how does that make you feel?
It feels good. It feels even better with the win, so I'm just happy we got that win.
Kelvin, this tournament, you're playing Monday, you're playing Tuesday. I guess how difficult is it to focus on the Monday team when you have a big-time matchup like Tennessee coming tomorrow?
It's not hard. I got freshmen. When you're coaching freshmen, bruh, you don't answer that question. We're not good enough to look ahead. You saw the way we played tonight. I see it every day. Some days we're better than others. This is not last year's team. I'm not saying they can't be eventually, but they're certainly not now. Look at the mistakes we make. It's hard to beat any really good team. It's hard to beat both. When you're making just silly mistakes. What are we doing here? But no, I don't think I try not to overreact to things in November. These guys that cover us on a daily, not daily, but yearly basis, no. We came out of here last year 4-3. Could have lost all three. We lost in overtime to Alabama. We lost in overtime to San Diego State. And we won a close one against Notre Dame. Could have lost tonight. But we won this one in overtime, whereas last year we lost it in overtime. So we'll see tomorrow. I think coming out today was a good experience for us. You're not going to play great every day. Especially your freshmen. We had some minutes against Auburn last Sunday where I thought we looked pretty good, but we also fouled 33 times. It's hard to have flow when the other team's at the free throw line. And we've been a pretty good defensive team over the years, but not today. We had more blow-bys and missed rollers and short roll today than we had probably in any 3 games in conference play last year. But we're also dealing with freshmen that are trying to figure out whether they're pitching or catching. So, but we'll get better. We're going to stay with them. I like this group, like this team. We got good kids, so.
Kelvin, I'm wondering when you found out that Donnie Freeman was not going to play today, and if that changed your strategy or the way you game planned against Syracuse at all.
No, I mean, I've never really seen him play before, but we prepared for him on tape. I mean, in person. I saw him on tape a lot. And you can tell that he is a good scorer, but, they didn't have him, so we had to scrap our defensive game plan. We had a game plan for him, but sometimes guys band together and play better when they don't have a guy. That happened to us last year with Texas Tech and J.T. Toppin. They lost him in a situation where they should have never kicked him out of the game. I mean, that wasn't warranted. But they did, and I think that made Texas Tech better. And they beat us. And then same thing with those guys tonight. But I'm sure Coach Autry and his staff and the Syracuse kids are disappointed that they lost. They should be. But they should not be disappointed with their effort and how tough they played. They played good. So.
Emanuel, Syracuse put the pressure on for a lot of that game defensively, but you do this a lot where you, especially right out of a break, you get hot, and that happened right out of overtime. You had those 5 straight points, hit that 3. What does it say about you in those moments, staying calm, cool, and collected when the pressure is on, but still having that ability to hit those tough shots?
We've played in a lot. We played in a lot of games since I've been here, and we played in a lot of close games. So we've been in a lot of those moments. But it wasn't just me. Khalifa played great in those moments. He had 5 boards that we really needed in clutch times in the second half. So it was, we prepare for these moments, especially in practice. We go really hard in practice. That defensive pressure that they gave us today, we get the same thing out of Cordell, Ramon, said, our whole white team in practice. We go against that every day, and I think they prepare us for a lot of these games. Sometimes better than, the teams that we play in the game. And I think that really helps us. But, yeah, coaches give me and Lowe's confidence, and, they went in today.
Emanuel, what were you dealing with out there the first half? Was it you left the game briefly?
I tweaked my ankle a little bit, but I was fine. I just went and got it taped.
And Kelvin, the last play of regulation where they try to feed it inside and JoJo comes up with the block. I mean, we've seen him make those plays, but you just kind of about the impact that, he made on that particular play.
This was not certainly one of Joe's better games. I mean, we know how good he is, but he still had 5 blocks. He's an elite shot blocker. But, the Cleveland kid, he didn't start practicing until, middle of October, something like that, kind of toward then. So we really haven't seen him a whole lot. You know, he was out from June until around October 20th, maybe. And so he's been taking baby steps. He played pretty good against Auburn last week and did some good things today. But we need JoJo to play a little bit more like a veteran than he played tonight. He's capable of playing a lot better. But the freshmen, they're going to be up and down. You know, they're going to look like Flemings was really good against Auburn. Tonight, he looked like he's in the witness protection program half the time. So I always get a chuckle as an old guy how people overreact to freshmen. Don't worry, he'll come back down there. They always do.
Two more questions. We'll go Chris here.
Milos, how did the four guards, you know, having them out there together, help open things up for you guys in overtime? It seemed like you were running some specific actions there.
Yeah, I think it helped space the floor out a little bit. You're saying with me, King, and Zay, and E. Yeah, I think it definitely helped space the floor out. You got 4 shooters out there. But yeah, I mean, I think down the stretch we did a good job defensively as well. And then finishing the play with a rebound. So I think we played well.
Last question. We'll go to Jim.
Emanuel, you had 12 free throw attempts tonight. I believe that's a career high for you. Just how much is a confident booster is it for you when your shots aren't falling, but you're still getting to the line?
I mean, it's good. You know, that's one of the areas of my game that I got to keep improving at is, you know, attacking the basket and not just getting fouled, but finishing. But, you know, free throws, we work on that every day in practice. So, you know, we were all prepared to shoot it well at the free throw line.
Okay, thanks, guys.